Welcome back to the Manhattan Project. Not Mutants in Manhattan. That's a different TMNT game. Cowabunga! We have to hurry in order to destroy the Technodrome, blah, or spaceship, or whatever it is. Yeah, basically, we're upping the ante. Instead of just finishing with the Technodrome, this time we're finishing off in a spaceship in space.
I love how that stock sound effect sounded like the shouts from Launch Space Zone.
Probably from some kind of library. And you got more stone soldiers. And there you go. That's the spin attack that the RAF has that tournament fighters will also reuse later. So this is kind of a thing with Konami. They kind of thought it would be good to give RAF some kind of spin attack.
Which is funny because really, when you think about it, Leo's attack is more of a spinning attack, and Raf's is... okay, he does do spinning, but it's more in a funnel motion, and the main part he uses is, of course, his head for a skull bash.
So we were mentioning the later era of the 80s Turtles in the last part, so what I did in between is that I took a look at the last episode from 1993 and the first episode of the Red Sky season to see if there was any transition between the two. I can say that no. I mean, it does follow up the story from the last episode, but in terms of everything else, no. The sky is suddenly red. The turtles are suddenly scowling all the time. April suddenly no longer has a yellow jacket, and everything else.
Yeah, they're trying.
It's really it's such a rough transition.
Yeah, they're trying. Of all times, right now is when they decide to start catering to the comic book fans. If you take a look at the colored version of the first Mirage comic, it also has a red sky, so you can tell that the red sky was taken from the Mirage comics.
I'm still more willing to believe that they were just following the cues of Batman. Well, okay, granted. I don't know. Okay, I don't know if we were in the era of Batman, the new Adventures of Batman, wherein the sky was red dark for some reason.
Well, the Red Sky started in 1994, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about the New Adventures or whatever. Okay, I will say I actually really do like the theme song for the Red Sky era.
Oh yeah, it is. Like the TMNT theme songs are always good.
It's from the same guys who did the original.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, it feels like what they did with the Iron Man animated series down to a T. Except, I would argue that for Iron Man, that was definitely to the show's benefit. I mean, not to say that it was like the worst thing ever before that, but oh boy, that first season is pretty hokey.
It's like don't get me wrong, that song is good, but nothing will ever top the original iconic masterpiece.
On the topic of music, I feel like this song was reused or remixed in the second Game Boy game.
Well, yeah.
I've been quiet because I've just been trying to feel like this song's so familiar.
And to answer Jova's question, you said the new Batman Adventures, didn't you?
Yes.
That started in 1997. So in terms of the sky being red all the time,
okay, so they were probably taking.
TMNT actually had a head start by 3 years.
You see,
in fact, the new Batman Adventures started a year after the TNT show ended.
You see, there's the logic is
that case,
red.
It probably was taking more so cues from the comics.
You see, Dwebs, the logic, what Jova said. The logic here, Dwebs, is that red sky equals serious business.
I love how people pretty much call it the red. I love it how people pretty much now call that the Red Sky era.
Well, I also got that from the way the Turtles were scowling to how there were far less jokes to. Not to say the humor was removed.
I'm honestly wondering. I really wish somebody would ask Peter Laird if he ever saw, and if so, what does he think of the Red Sky seasons? Because he probably would enjoy that a lot more.
I mean, since he was involved with the 2003 show, okay, the 2003 show didn't have the sky being red all the time, but it was more. I mean, I wouldn't say dark, just more down to
seriousness.
Yeah.
Okay, question. Do people commonly actually call it the Red Sky era, or is
Yes.
it just what you guys
Yeah.
call it?
Well, no, it became known as the Red Sky era among fans. Yes, because
Based on how totally and suddenly different everything was.
it's because like I said, Batman the animated series got really popular, and they wanted in on some of that moolah, basically. It really is. It's like it's for the same reason that MGM made Wizard of Oz, because Snow White made family-oriented fantasy films popular all of a sudden.
Now I have to wonder if Batman the Animated Series actually took cues from that when it got to New Adventures.
Probably. It's kind of like this thing that in the 90s, for whatever reason, people thought that red immediately signaled serious dark tone. Because remember, there's the same thing in the Page Master, when suddenly Moby Dick shows up, and Captain Ahab's like, "Dar she blows!" and suddenly a big red filter on top of the screen, and it's just like, what the hell? Like, and that one is probably the most blatant. I think the Nostalgia Critic said best in his review. Guys, you have to be a bit more clever about your lighting changes. God is not just waiting around with a red filter. Ooh, a dramatic moment. They're going to need a red filter for that. Like, come on, guys. You have to be a bit more clever about your lighting shifts. Yeah, basically. Alright, in the meantime, more foot soldiers. Again, so, time to take down Krang once and for all. I'm sure he will not go back. Will not try the same thing ever again. I very fucking tell you. Never mind the fact that there's a Turtles 4, but we already did Turtles in Time, so we're not gonna do that.
Oh, wouldn't it be great to redo it with this collection? Also, the fact that wait, was I even in that commentary?
Yes, you were.
All
All five. In fact, even Deji was in it. So yeah, all 6 of us were. No need to redo that.
How long ago was that? Was that back when Darkstar was a member still?
No, 2019, if I remember correctly. So...
It was 4 years ago.
Well, time flies, Jova.
Too much sometimes.
Yep.
See, it flies when you're having a good time, but of course it slows down the moment you're in a moment where you just want to be out of there.
Yep. That's basically it. It's like Einstein said, time and space is relative.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Alright, now for next turtle, I guess we'll go with Raph again. There you go. So yeah, basically, that's the primary major improvement from the previous game, definitely. The one that every time you respawn, you get to choose a different turtle. Again, arcade style. Because they didn't have that in TMNT 2, even though the original arcade game let you do that. So it's a good thing that they fixed that mistake from the previous game. There you go. But yeah, that's the basic gist of it, Dwebs. That being said, Dwebs, once you get over how abrupt and jarring the lack of transition is, the Red Sky seasons are still enjoyable for what they are. Like I said, the final episode is actually a really good send-off to the entire series. So
they are a massive shift in quality, but they're not bad. Which is, trust me, there have been so many shows that have been done in by a stupid change in tone and whatnot. No, they managed to make 3 seasons out of it. Again, I think maybe they petered out due to that. Or, you know what? Maybe they just petered out because, Christ, the 80s Turtles show went on for a while. Either way, though, the fact that they didn't immediately die and tucker out, without just being a zombie like Fairly Odd Parents, I would say, again, shows that they were very adaptable. It may not have been the best transition, but we still managed to get good stuff in that era.
Well, I mean,
it's not...
19... Took on.
It's not even like, people look back at that era with nothing but disdain. Oh, sure, yeah, people do kind of raise their eyebrows and go, huh, Yeah, that certainly was the 90s, but it's not like anyone goes, wow, this absolutely ruined and tarnished the show, at least not en masse.
Because a lot of, from what I can tell, 1994 seemed to be the year in which the 80s properly died. Like how suddenly people, it's like when things from the 80s just suddenly, because actually, you know what, that's not very cool. Because and everything that survived from the 80s was heavily retooled, like TMNT and
one of the things that I really liked about the 90s in terms of animated cartoons was that I felt like, at least to me, I felt like that was the time where we were getting the most in terms of variety. I think. Let me explain how. Like, if you wanted your serious dramatic shows, you had plenty of them. You had the Batman animated series, you had Gargoyles, like Jova said, the Batman New Adventures show, and as well as other stuff like the Dragon. Well, actually, Dragon Ball wasn't around in America at the time, but the point is, there were quite a few of them. And there was still quite a, but if you also had an appetite for wacky, full-blown comedy cartoons, Cartoon Network's early years got you covered with stuff like Crime and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, all that good stuff. I felt like that was probably the best in terms of variety that we've had, because nowadays there's definitely much more in terms of serious shows compared to comedic shows. Like there's a higher ratio instead of a more balanced ratio that I feel like was better in the 90s. I will argue. It doesn't necessarily make this.
Disagree.
Go on.
I disagree. I feel like we've got our balance here. It's just a matter of the quality, honestly.
Sure. But yeah, to me it just boils down to the fact that Wild Webs in 1994, like you yourself said, the 80s died, and the whole cowabunga dude thing just wasn't cutting it anymore. So what's cool now is the cool epic stuff with Gargoyles and Batman. So,
you know, I always do love that irony where people think, oh, this is just old and stuff, and yet stuff like Cowabunga is pretty much regarded with the Turtles nowadays currently, whereas, again, some of the more darker and try-hard stuff is seen as dated.
Remind me, Dej. Do the 2003 Turtles ever make any Cowabunga remarks whatsoever? I don't think they do.
Mikey tries to, and Raph hits him saying no.
Okay, so if I understood correctly, that's Peter Laird saying fuck off with the Cowabunga shit, I'm guessing.
I mean, I think sometimes Mikey would say it, but yeah, there were times where Raph will just be like, stop.
Sure. And there's Krang.
Using the same sprites from last time.
Well, even back in these days, Jova reusing assets was very common in sequels.
Shame you can't knock him into the laser gate.
However, there's one major difference. Now he can split into two. There you go.
That is surprising.
Okay, so I actually do recommend using Donnie for this boss battle, because as you can see, his whatever its name is attack is actually really good for.
I think it's his bow staff.
No, I know what the bow is. I just don't know the name of the attack. We read it in the manual, but I forgot.
I think it was a somersault.
Yeah, it's something along those lines.
That's definitely what he's definitely doing, a somersault. So
Yeah, the manual said something.
That's what it's called.
The manual gave it a totally radical name of sorts, but I forgot what it was. There you go.
Seems to go down surprisingly easier than last time.
A what? No, I'm invincible quote, Krang?
I guess at this point even he realizes that statement is still a bunk, but wait
And now,
a minute.
and now Shredder uses the last bit of use to turn himself into Super Shredder.
Don't worry, just let him walk towards you and he'll fall through the floor.
Oh, look at that. So we're combining aspects from the movie with the 80s series now.
Remind me, Dej, was Super Shredder an invention of the comics? I'm guessing so.
I think it was an invention of
The second movie? Yeah, but eventually the other incarnations took cues from it, I'm guessing, right?
2012 show, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if Super Shredder was a thing in the '80s series. I don't recall.
I actually,
that.
I mean, I hope I hope it became a standard because the whole idea of Shredder using the ooze to turn himself into a mutant super version of him, it's such a cool idea in general that I just think it's just a waste of opportunity to not use it, you know.
Well, you might like what the Batman and TMNT crossovers did.
Oh no, I saw that,
That
Java.
was Super Shredder.
But that being said, yeah, what you said it technically was, but I didn't see that crossover.
It
though.
technically wasn't, but it was more or less their equivalent to it.
Sure. But yeah, taking a cue from the second movie, like Deji said, yes, Super
No,
Shredder.
I was the one who mentioned it was taking a cue from the movie.
All right. Sure. The point is Super Shredder. I recommend using Raph for this one.
Again, it's interesting how this game seems to be combining aspects. Like, again, it definitely uses the '80s series as a base, but then we got aspects from the movies.
By the time this game was being
wonder-
made, the second movie came out, so they had time to. Ooh, crap! Super Shredder. We can have this as the new final boss.
Again, Shredder ain't playing around, yo.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, this one doesn't get killed by a roof falling on top of him.
Unfortunately, Webs, there is no piles of wood around here, so we have to kill.
There's the what, sorry?
There are no piles of wood around here, so we have to defeat him the old-fashioned way.
Wait, Pedro. So you're telling me that mutagen actually turned Shredder into one of the aliens from M. Night Shyamalan's?
Oh my God, he's right. Jesus, I never thought of it that way, but yeah.
Go on, say it. What M. Night Shyamalan movie?
What a twist. Anyway,
No, he's asking about which
Oh my God.
Shyamalan movie came with the...
oh my God, Angel Island fell again. Oh wait, never mind. Wrong game.
Anyway, the movie I'm talking about is Signs, Dead.
Oh wait, congratulations! Come on, you should have had him say Kawabunga there. Come on, game.
Dang, come on, guys. Okay, I will say this.
Leonardo.
I will say this. For all the build-up, surprisingly, that ending feels pretty abrupt.
It does.
Like after all of that. The
Foot Soldier.
guys, bad happens back. Never mind that the rough impact into the water would have caused a lot. We've saved the city.
Ground shot.
Yay!
My leg.
There's Slash.
Ow.
Bebop.
Cowboy.
And Dirtbag.
The bag.
Mother
So
Mauser.
what you're saying, Dwibs, is that Cowboy Bebop and Rocksteady Studios are friends.
Naturally.
And Shredder, of course. Toka.
With foot.
Krang. And of course, Super Shredder.
Okay, so
Or a fight this time.
anyway, a bit of context, Dead. Signs was basically the start of M. Night Shyamalan's downfall, essentially. It was the first movie that got people to reconsider the whole he's the next Steven Spielberg thing, and this movie after that, Village, pretty much sealed the deal.
Oh, hold on. Masaki Kishimoto. So the M Kishimoto from the previous game that we saw is probably this guy. Masaki Kishimoto. There you go. So not remember, Joe, I made a joke in the previous one about Mario Kishimoto worked on this game, but no, it's Masaki actually.
I don't know if we'll ever know. Who knows? Maybe it was actually Morio Kishimoto.
Well, whatever. Thank you for your playing. That's not.
Yes, thank you for your playing.
I'm pretty sure that's not how you write that.
Well, hey, what I play, what? Hey,
Thank you for your.
My playing is my own business.
Thank you for your playing. All right, that was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3: The Manhattan Project. Dwibs.
Well, as for my opinion, sorry, it's again, it's almost like the previous game. It's just a bit more refined. The presentation quirks aside, it's definitely solid. I mean, I did play a little bit of it a bit ago, and it's okay. on the easy mode, granted, but I still had a decent time with what little I played in it.
Coolio. Dedge.
That looks fine. A step up from the previous two.
All right. Jova.
Good venture. Again, I love how insane Shredder is in this game. A few presentation quirks are kind of the only really issues with this game. Like, when you think about it, some of the stuff doesn't make sense. Yes, even for the context of TMNT. And the ending feels a little too abrupt for all that build-up. Otherwise, it's a good step up from the previous game, as a sequel should be.
Alright everybody, when it comes to our marathon of the TMNT scrolling beat-em-up saga, we have one more before we get to Shredder's Revenge. We have Teenage Ninja Turtles Hyperstone Heist, the Genesis exclusive that was released right alongside TMNT 4 Turtles in Time. Since we already did the arcade versions of TMNT, the original arcade game, and Turtles in Time, we're not going to do Turtles 4 since it's redundant. So we'll just do Hyperstone Heist, the original scrolling beat 'em up, and the only aside from Tournament Fighters, it was actually aside from Tournament Fighters, it was the only TMNT game to be released on Sega's console. So let's see how it is then. See you later.